Good morning. Welcome back to my channel, Lords of the Fly. I'm Joe, and this is my sixth attempt to do this video today. I keep running into technological snags, and I suppose that kind of leads me to the reason for this video. I'm entitling this video Vision. It's been 1 week today. I began this YouTube journey a week ago on my 43rd wedding anniversary. It's been 1 week. And in that week, I can talk about highlights and lowlights. I'll start with the lowlights first. I think I got ahead of myself wanting to be a perfectionist, and that's when I run into trouble. I can't afford perfectionism on this YouTube journey, because then the more I try to be perfect, the less authentic I come across. I wanted to get I wanted to get it down from the start, how to do the perfect, beautiful thumbnail for each of my videos, and I fail. I'm technologically strapped. I am somewhere in the spectrum between tech challenged and tech illiterate. So I'm going to leave it like this. I think those skills will come in time. But right now, what I should concentrate on as I look back, and this has been the highlight of my first week, is content creation that seeks to connect with others, that is authentic and transparent. That, I think, has been my strength. At least that's what my hope is going into this. I find that the more videos that I do, and this is like video number 7 or something like that, the process gets easier. But just turning the phone on, having to turn it on the other side of this phone, and then setting myself down on this side and hoping that I'm in frame, all of that stuff just drives me nuts. I just wish there was an easier way to do this. There is a contraption on my tripod. It looks like a remote device that you can clamp on, but I tried it several times today and it worked once or twice and then it didn't work. So I'm just going to go back to this old-fashioned way of doing it manually and getting back into frame, hopefully. But anyway, it's been 1 week. So I want to thank you for those of you who have come back a second or third or fourth time, whatever. Thank you for coming back to support my channel. And I ask all of you, and I've heard people ask this all the time, I think it's kind of corny, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If any of this resonates with you, if you're gaining some value from this, please subscribe to my channel. But again, what's important is that I should not worry about subscribers, viewers, monetization. I learned this past week that I'm probably going to be speaking into the void of the YouTube vortex for at least the next 11 months or so, maybe the next year, before I see any kind of return. I am an entrepreneur, first and foremost. I successfully have run an eBay business from the time I was an upper echelon of my middle ages to my 8th decade of life in my 70s. And I'm confident that I can be an entrepreneur on eBay. I'm trying to bring some of that confidence over into a new platform called YouTube. And I realize that there's value in it for me going into it that transcends the intrinsic, that is intrinsic in nature and transcends the value of money. And what do I mean by this? Well, I'm a stroke recoverer first and foremost, as my first video will talk about. I'm 73 years old. I'm not getting any younger. I try to take care of my health, but I could do a lot better. My sleep hygiene stinks. I need to get to bed earlier. I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of reading of my Bible, and I recite Bible verses. And I find all of those things, reading in general, all of those things help God, help me renew my new brain. And I call it my new brain because since I recovered from my strokes, I feel like everything is new. A la Jimmy Stewart, getting up the morning after and knowing that it's a wonderful life. It is a wonderful life. And my mission on YouTube, one that cleanses me intrinsically, gives me value intrinsically, is to encourage you, to motivate you, to inspire you. First of all, just by me showing up each time you turn the channel on, you know that I've survived another day, and you can kind of cheer inside your heart for that, because by proxy, you survived another day yourself. We can all cheer for each other that way. So that's the first level of encouragement and motivation and inspiration. The second level is, son of a gun, one of these days, I might just say something that hits you a certain way, that causes you, that triggers you to remember something that might have happened in your life, or something that makes you want to grab your wife or husband and kiss him or her, to look at your children in a new light and appreciate and be grateful for everything that you have. Every day, I tell myself certain affirmations. There's about 7 of them that I've kind of focused on. I remember the first 3 going like, I choose to be happy. First and foremost, that's a choice one has to make to start the new day right. I choose to be happy. I am thankful for everything I have is equally powerful, and it puts you in a mindset of appreciation for the life that you have. I am capable of achieving great things is a great incentivizer for me. It challenges me to meet my day head on, and I tend to be I got my hand in all different kinds of things, and it's kind of an ADHD kind of person, but it works for me. I get things done that way. Like today is Friday, and each Friday I like to vacuum parts of the house for my wife, and I got some grass to mow out there, and I have some eBay work to do, and I spend some time reading my Bible and thinking about my next YouTube channel and YouTube video and what I'd like to title it. I start planning like 24 to 48 hours ahead of time for the next 1, 2, or 3 videos. And I plan to do this for the next 12 months. Speaking into the void. Again, seeing no return that's materialistic, but feeling good about the intrinsic value, the things that are non-tangible. What's most important to me is that I'm connected with you at some point and that you'll want to come back. When I learn more about the technical aspects of YouTube, I will learn how to build a community. I will learn how to invite you to leave comments. Well, you can leave comments now if it's possible, because I'm not sure if I set my YouTube up right, but I thought I did. I did press the on button for comments, and I'll respond to you pronto, I promise. And I think I'd like to build that engagement. I think that's what's important. I have to really slow down and say, push aside what's not important. What's not important right now is that I master the technology. What's key right now is that I continue developing, creating content that is resonant, that is effective and motivating and inspiring and just encouraging you. We live a good life. With all the garbage that's going on politically in our country or in the world, these are things beyond our control. I choose to focus on what I can control. That's another affirmation. I think it's affirmation number 4. There's a lot of truth to that. I choose to focus on what I can control, not on things that I can't control. And control is an illusion anyway. The thing that's most important is that I master myself. I was so afraid to begin this YouTube journey, but I kept talking to myself. Even as I'm talking to you now, I'm talking to myself. Calm down. Be confident. Rest assured, you're doing a good job. You're doing the best job you can at this point. And that's what's most important, is that I keep embellishing what's inside of me so that I can move forward. Truth be known, I love being a content creator on YouTube. I really love it. I have a passion for it. I imagine that there's a huge amphitheater that someone has built. The YouTube producers have built this huge amphitheater. You're the audience and you're sitting in the row. In the front row is my future self and my grandchildren and my nuclear family. And I walk through the curtains and I'm seated at a table, and on it is a tripod with a phone that I'm speaking into, but at the same time I'm speaking to you, the invited audience. You know, I've got to imagine these things, and this is all going on while I'm talking with you because I have to feel like this makes sense. I have to make it make sense to me in order for it to make sense to you. You may not agree with everything I say, and I hope you don't, but something, somewhere along the line, might just hit a resonant chord within your heart or your mind, and you'll want to share that back with me, your feelings about it. I encourage you to like and subscribe as you feel ready to do so. I'm just inviting you to do that. Thank you for helping to build my channel just by being present. I want to thank the YouTube creators, all three of you young men who at one point in time, years ago, came up with this idea. I think one of you filmed the day at the zoo or something like that, and that's what kicked this whole YouTube amazing metropolis off. And now here we are, a global effort with new content creators jumping aboard every single day. I'm just one of them. But I hope to make a difference to somebody in Ukraine and somebody in Russia. Who knows? Maybe we build bridges and we don't have to have wars, right? I mean, that one can only hope. But this is Friday the 29th. I'm 1 week into this journey, and I'm so thankful that I'm on it. I'm so thankful for that wise Taoist, Lao Tzu, who wrote, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." And here I am, taking that single step. I remember when I was a young boy, my father, who was a good fisherman, would be walking on the beach in front of me, and his footsteps, he walked with his toes pointing outwards with each step. And I was a little boy, and I would be dashing and jumping just to land in each of his footsteps. It took like about 2 steps of mine to match his one stride. But it was a fun thing to watch as he walked along the beach, and it was great for me to follow in his footsteps. And I imagined myself being tall and big like him someday, and I loved it. As a little boy, I looked after my father, and he was the leader and I was the follower. But it begins with a single step. And for this past week, I've enjoyed each step, each video that I've created, because it was a way to show myself that I could do it. I surprised myself with that first video, and then the second video, and then it does get easier. I mean, Kevin Colby talked about it, Rob the Maritime Talker talked about it, Alexa Saranoia, Brenda Turner, all the beautiful mentors, my big brothers and sisters who have done this for weeks, months, maybe years ahead of me, but whom I'm emulating at some point. First of all, I emulate the Lord God who took me from the trash heap of life and gave me value. And I followed his lead and became an eBay reseller, taking other people's trash, infusing new value into it, and reselling it to those who weren't fortunate enough to get it the first time around. And by doing so, there needed to be less landfills to be filled and more of a sharing of value. I want to do the same thing here on YouTube. I want to share my little 2 cents and add it to your coffers of value. I want to make a difference in this community and in the community in front of me. I want to make a difference. I want to make a positive impact. That's my goal each day. So thank you everyone for joining me on my journey. And again, I invite you to subscribe if you feel so inclined. Thank you so very much for joining me. Until next time, this is Joe from Lords of the Fly saying aloha and mahalo for joining me. Take care everyone. Have a nice week. Bye. See you next time.